Hi everyone, I'm Scot England. Welcome to a very special conversation with probably the most recognizable man in country music. He joined the Oak Ridge Boys in 1965, and with the Oaks he became a member of the Grand Ole Opry and also the Country Music Hall of Fame. Welcome, William Lee Golden.
Thank you, Scott. It's great to be here with you. Welcome to our home.
This is a place I've spent a lot of time over the past couple of years as we worked on your new autobiography, Behind the Beard.
Yeah, what we have 50 meetings here for at least 2 hours every time.
We're going to be talking about William's life, career, and his book. And William, before we get started, I want you to read how the book starts. Just give them a little preview.
When you write your life story and you decide to bury everything, it's kind of scary. It feels a lot like getting naked in front of the entire world. Now that I've committed to it, there's one thing going through my mind. If I was going to get naked in front of everyone, I probably should not have waited until I'm 82 years old.
And you know, that was something that you told me in one of our first meetings.
Yeah.
And when people get the book and they start the book, they know it's going to be something extra special. This is going to be a ride, and it is. What was the process like for you of writing your life story?
Well, it was a thing that you would come over here and you had prepared questions that you would think about. And we'd sit down and you put your recorder on. And we would sit here and talk. You would ask questions and I would answer it to the best of my ability. And I told you that you're welcome to go and talk to any of these people that might be discussed in my book. Mm-hmm. My friends, my associates, my ex-wife, my whoever that we may be discussing something about or a situation, you're welcome to not only take my word for it, but you could compare it, go and talk to them, record them, see. Somewhere in the middle we'll find what the truth is.
Whenever I told people that I was going to work with you, I was going to write your life story, help you write yours, to a person, their reaction was, uh-oh. Because if they know you, they know how honest you are.
Yeah. And
they know that you're not afraid to tell the truth. Yeah. And they know that you know a lot of truth on a lot of people. We're going to look at some of the photos from the book, and you can just tell me some of your memories from these photos. Tell us about that little guy.
Well, that's a barefoot kid there that, and I remember taking that photo. I remember standing on that.
You were 4 years old.
Yeah, on that bumper there.
You mentioned your sister Lynette.
Yeah.
And there you are with your two new instruments.
Yeah, those were our new instruments. Those are Gibson instruments that we went to Mobile and my daddy bought for us. I've still got that guitar.
You still have it today?
I still have it.
Wow. William, have you been surprised at the response from the people who have read your book?
I have, you know. I talked to you. I shared with you what's going on, you know. To me, my life has always been kind of like an open book. I don't hide whatever it is I'm doing. I'm pretty well. I've made a lot of mistakes. I do a lot of crazy things. And if people are having fun, I'm ready to have fun. So that's kind of been my motto anyway. I think you did a fantastic job in what you did with the book too. And you ask a lot of these questions to me. As we would talk, you would take the 2 or 3 hours, whatever we sat and talked, then you would go home and I'd see you in a couple of days. You'd come back and you had fresh questions. Mm-hmm. Then you got to on in the process of writing the book, when you started talking to other people like our managers,
sure,
the different guys, the Oak Ridge Boys, and my ex-wife and my wife and different people.
William, during our many interview sessions, you would ad-lib different things to me, just come off the top of your head, and I'd grab my pen and write it down, and we put some of those in the book. And here are just a few. Can you read those three right there?
Yeah, that's when I'd sometime partying too hard, when my swagger had become a stagger.
Your swagger had become a stagger.
Yeah. I'm a has-been that never was.
And really, you said that numerous times. I'm a has-been that never was, and you really felt that at times.
Yeah.
But
no one really knows who you are. I mean, I feel like I'm the guy that kind of lurks around in the shadows back there and comes in and sings on the chorus,
well,
and then
with all
back
this,
to the shadows.
We've put you in front a little bit out of the chat. And one more line that you came up with.
Some people don't understand my lack of humor.
I just thought all those were great. And
Yeah.
there's more in the book, so you'll have to get that. Let's look at some more pictures here.
That's me and Frogene the day we got married.
I captioned that, "The bride looks stunning and the groom looks stunned."
Yeah, I did have that stunned look on my face.
Now
Am I doing this?
you were teenagers in love. You got married during your senior year, both of you. You were married during the weekend on a Saturday,
Yeah.
and then she went back to high school on Monday.
Yeah.
And you went to farming with your
I
dad.
went back, got on the tractor and farmed
Wow.
while she was in school. And
William, you were my number one goal when I started writing books. You turned me down a number of times. I knew, though, if I would ever get you, I wanted your first wife to be a part of the book.
yeah,
Frogene was there at the beginning. She had lots of rare pictures in her collection. She had lots of stories I needed to get. But she came down with cancer, and I didn't know if I could get her. But you finally committed right at the right time. You said you would do it. Chris, your son, called me and said, "If you want Frogene, you need to come down now." And we went down to Bruton. She gave us 2 days and told us story after story. She laughed, she cried, she showed us all of her pictures. And I could see the love that she had for you. It just came through. And I said, I told her, I said, "Man, after all this time, the love you have for him." And she says, "Well, I do love him, and this is my last gift to him of her helping with your book." And she passed a short time later.
yeah.
But she's a huge part of this book, and she had some incredible stories of which we'll
She
get to.
did, and it's all what she said is true. And I learned things out of this book because I was unfaithful. I was an unfaithful husband. I became an unfaithful husband. You know, in the beginning I wasn't, but then I wound up being an unfaithful husband. And so it's trying to love two women. It's like a ball and chain.
I've
So,
heard that before
yeah.
somewhere. Frogene also tells the story in great detail about the time that she and your girlfriend kind of teamed up without you knowing about it, and Frogene put her in the closet, and you didn't know she was there. And you'll have to get the book to find out that story. It's a
Find out
classic
which one. I was telling two people that I loved them, and I did.
Wow. And you didn't know that the girlfriend was there in
I
the
did
house?
not know she was there.
It's a memorable story. Let's look at some more photos from the book Behind the Beard. One of the first Oak Ridge Boys with William Lee Golden.
This is about a year and a half or so after I joined the Oak Ridge Boys. Smitty Gatlin left a year and a half later, and he decided to get off the road. He was a lead singer. So we hired Dwayne Allen to come in.
And Little Willie Wynn is in it.
Little Willie Wynn was singing tenor at that time. Herman Harper was the bass singer. Tommy Fairchild was a piano player. His son has played with the Oak Ridge Boys for 42 years now.
That is amazing. Would you buy a Bible from that man?
Well, that was a good Bible.
Throughout the course of our conversation, we're going to be reading some of your messages, some of the emails, some of the text, and some of the even reviews from Amazon that we've got from your book. Are you
Really?
ready to read some of them, or
Yeah.
at least listen to a few of them? Jane Baker shares this photo. Jane says, "Loved reading your book. It was so interesting. I read it in a day and a half." Rick Dominic shares this photo and writes, "Wow, what an awesome book. I'm normally not much of a book reader, but from the first paragraph to the last, I didn't want to put the book down." And one more, Basoto with her picture. "I enjoyed each and every page. When I saw this book come out, I waited just a bit to see if it would be out on e-reader, but ultimately I'm glad it didn't, because I wouldn't have had this autographed copy or the truly amazing photos contained in the book. It's a treat to read, written almost as if the reader and William are sitting down having a conversation. William is indeed very honest in his writing his story. There are good times and sad times. If you're a fan of country or Southern gospel, this book is for you."
Wow.
I think they like it.
Yeah. Those are nice things. And again, I've been overwhelmed at all the people that, great friends of mine that it's read it.
William Lee Golden's autobiography, Behind the Beard. You can get it on Amazon. You can get it at williamleegoldenbook.com. If you want a signed copy, you can get that there for just a couple of dollars more at williamleegoldenbook.com. Your book has pictures of all four of your wives.
Yeah.
Not all together,
Not all together. No.
but it's pretty unique that somebody's autobiography has pictures of all four of your
Yeah,
wives.
well,
and you
that's part of my life,
What was Simone's reaction when you told her you were going to write your autobiography? And then what was her reaction when she got the finished product?
Simone liked the book. Again, she learned things that she didn't know too, and it was hearing these other wives' situations and seeing these other photos and hearing about these stories that some of them stories I had not really gotten into because I didn't find a situation that I thought was a time to be discussing things that wound up in that book.
Simone is very instrumental later in the book in you making amends with your first wife. She played a big role in that, and it's a special part of the book.
I had shared that I had been unfaithful as the reason that I wound up divorced from my first wife, the mother of three of my older sons. Simone asked me, she said, "Did you ever apologize to Frogene for being unfaithful to her?" She said, "It was your fault that you wound up being divorced. It's certainly not something she did. Did you ever apologize to her?" I said, "Well, I don't know that I did. I don't think so." She said, "Well, don't you think it's about time? What are you waiting on? She deserves an apology from you." I said, "Well, whoa." And again, she would, "Well, when do you think is time?" She said, "Pick up the phone and call her." I said, I don't feel like doing that, and not today. And I didn't. I kept putting it off,
And you didn't call her. You waited until a very special occasion,
Yeah.
which we're going to let them get the book to find out. But you did it in person, in front of the entire family, including Simone, who was there.
Yeah,
So anyway,
Simone was there when I did. She didn't expect me to be doing it that day, and I did. So
it's worth the price of the book. A few more pictures here. It's called Behind the Beard, so we've got to talk about the beard. It wasn't always like it is today.
I was a clean-cut guy at one time. I was a kind of a GQ guy. I liked fashion and whatever was the latest style. And
here's an interesting picture of the Oaks, and can you read the caption on that?
Dwayne, I swear I thought it was Casual Friday. And there I am, and I don't remember those pink shorts that I was wearing, but I see I've got them on.
In the spring of 1987, you were fired by the Oak Ridge Boys.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't realize that you were out of the group for 9 years. Details of the firing are in the book, Behind the Beard. We're going to make you buy the book. And also details about how you rejoined the group as the prodigal son returned. And you gave the other Oaks free rein. You said, Scott, have at it. You can call them and get their side of it. And
get their side of the story.
They all are part of the book. They all share their memories. So get the book for that. And your youngest son, you have 4 sons. You have Rusty, Craig, Chris, Solomon.
Yeah.
They're all in the book.
Yeah.
They all share their memories.
Yeah.
Your youngest son, Solomon, talked about how he helped talk you into getting baptized.
He did.
And he also talked about a special Halloween.
Yeah.
And here's the photo from that. You went trick-or-treating to the other Oaks.
Yeah.
And the other guys didn't know it was you.
They did not know it was me. Each guy come, and I let him knock on the door, and he got the trick-or-treat. And when they would put stuff in his thing, and then I walked up and grinned at them and handed the picture to them and a pen. And
you were a fan getting their autograph.
And they autographed it and handed it back to me. I didn't say a word to them, but I just handed it to him after he had got the candy. They all 3 signed it. So I go back home, and then I hold the picture up there that you see.
Let's read some more emails from your fans who bought your book already. Here's a picture of Mary Master Martin. Mary writes, I'm thoroughly enjoying reading my new William Lee Golden book, learning lots of things I didn't know before. I've been following him and the Oaks since the early 70s. Linda says, this book is a treasure. William Lee is so open and honest in this book. He's an amazing man who shared his life with us in his new autobiography, a real treasure for any Oaks fan. And one more, TLK says, the life and times of one of the most recognizable figures in the music industry. This is an unvarnished look into the personal life and career of William Lee Golden. William is open and candid in telling the good and the bad. Don't miss this book, whether you're an Oaks fan or not.
That's awesome.
William, of course, the name of your book, Behind the Beard. Everybody's always fascinated about your beard. They always ask, when do you start growing it? Do you ever cut it? Will you ever cut it? All those questions are answered in the book if you get it. But you really, let's just give them one. When did you start growing it?
1980 was when I quit trimming it. I lost my razor, and I just never found it. And anyhow, man, it's wake up in the middle of the night sometimes or go to the restroom and turn the light on in the bathroom and see yourself. And I remember startling myself 2 or 3 times, you know, while it was growing out.
Sure.
And anyhow, yeah, scared my own self almost.
The book is Behind the Beard. You can get it at WilliamLeeGoldenBook.com, Amazon.com. William will sign a copy for you at WilliamLeeGoldenBook.com as well. Besides writing your life story during the pandemic, during the shutdown, you also made a lot of music with your sons as well. You probably accomplished more during the lockdown and the shutdown than anybody else in the world, William. You wrote a book. You did an album with the Oaks. You did 3 other albums with the Goldens.
Yeah.
Tell us about the new music with the Goldens.
Well, I had a vision to do this, and it started 2 or 3 years before we actually started recording. we went back, started singing old songs, old gospel songs. I went to the very beginning of where I started, and I took my sons back to where I started with the old songs I did. I wanted them to put their fresh music feel to these old songs because I knew they could make them, bring them alive musically. And sure enough, they did, man. And then I wanted them to harmonize with me, not only play on it, but now sing with me on it and harmonize with me. I brought Aaron McCune in to fill out the harmony with the bass, and we started singing songs. I got Michael Sykes to come in and help produce it, and him and Ben Isaac. Then Ben helped with the vocal arrangements and harmonies. The sounds that we had was just exhilarating. I mean, that was so uplifting. And we wound up recording 32 songs with my sons.
Wow.
We did a full 13 gospel songs and about 10 or 12 old classic country songs. Then we got into singing these old country rock songs and pop songs, you know.
During that time, I would be in the studio watching you, or we would be here working on your book, or I'd be here and you would play me some of the things that you had just recorded. I would go home and I would tell my wife, this guy is in his early 80s and he is doing the greatest work of his life.
It is. It's my greatest, what we did during the pandemic will ultimately be my greatest achievement in life.
That's just amazing after the life you've had,
Yeah.
after the achievements you've had. So how can people get the new music from the Goldens? Can they get it at williamleegolden.com?
William Lee Golden and the Goldens.
William, let's read some more emails and messages right now from some of the folks who've already gotten your book. Here's a photo of Tara Lee Schultes, who says, this book is absolutely awesome. I learned a lot about an amazing man and his family. The book is a must-have for anyone who loves the Oaks. Order it now. Todd Swego says, sends this picture and writes, I finished reading William Lee's book this morning, a very enlightening read. I've followed the boys since the mid-70s. This will now go into my Oaks room, which is where I took the picture. And one more. Karen Sereno says, and sends this photo, she says, thanks for sharing your life with us. This book was very great. I loved it.
Wow.
And one more. Mo Bandy says, I hate this book. I had to throw that in. Had to have somebody hate it.
Yeah.
William,
Mo Bandy.
you go
He's
into
a good one.
You go into great detail about the future for the Oak Ridge Boys and the future for you after the Oak Ridge Boys. You say you want to be singing when you're 101.
Yeah, I do.
And to make it to 101, you have to stay healthy, and you're one of the healthiest guys I know. Tell us how you stay healthy at now 83 years old.
Well, you got to activate yourself. Yesterday, I was able to do, I was kind of in a hurry, but I did 200 sit-ups within 20 minutes.
You had 2 shows with the Oaks
Yeah.
last night, and before those shows, you did 200 sit-ups.
I did 200 sit-ups before doing 2 shows, and it helps me sing better, actually. It keeps your diaphragm, it keeps your lung capacity full. Breathe deep, you know, go all the way back, and then go all the way and touch my toes.
William, I look forward to being on the front row, cheering you on when you're 101. I'll be in, I guess, my 70s then. and that will be so cool.
Yeah.
We'll do it. We'll make a date to do it. I have no doubt that you're going to be doing that with the Goldens. We've got a few more folks who have sent photos right now. We need to get them on before our time runs out. Ron and Wilma Jordan included this photo with their book. They write, Behind the Beard is an awesome read, full of truth you don't often see and biographies of stars of William's stature. I've been fortunate to speak with William Lee a few times, and as I read his book, I can hear his thoughtful Southern drawl in every line. A hard one to put down. If you haven't got it, be sure to add it to your list.
Wow.
And one more picture, Marcia Courtney. Marcia took the time to write, I love this book. I've been a fan of the Oaks since the 70s. William Lee is my favorite. His story made me cry, made me laugh, and so warmed my heart. The book was worth the wait. And Judy White sent us this photo. Says, be sure to get your copy of William Lee's book. It is so good. You can get your copy at williamleegoldenbook.com, amazon.com. William Lee Golden, this has been not only the highlight of my career, it's been one of the true highlights of my life to get to know you and to help you make a book that we're both pretty proud of.
Well, Scott, for you to say that, man, it means a lot to me, you know, because we got to know each other, and I felt comfortable being around you, and you didn't look at me like I was a beast from beyond when I would get into some of these things that we would talk about. You would ask me questions, and I felt close enough that I could open up and talk to you. You know, you've got that a warm way of getting in there and asking questions in ways that it don't offend or intimidate or feel like you're trying to be nosy or digging into things. You allowed me to do the talking.
William, thank you for your time.
Thank you, Scott. I hope we're friends forever.
You got it, buddy. Now you know a little bit more about the man behind the beard. I'm Scot England. Thank you for listening.
Hi, folks. I'm William Lee Golden. Have you ever wondered what was behind the beard? Now you can find out, as I tell all in my new autobiography. I grew up in the cotton fields of South Alabama, but I dreamed of being at the top of the gospel music charts, and those dreams came true. Then I dreamed that the Oak Ridge Boys could make it in country music, and we did. My 50 years with the Oaks have been quite a ride, and it's all in my book. You can get your deluxe hardcover copy on Amazon or at williamleegoldenbook.com. And at williamleegoldenbook.com, you can also get an autographed copy. I'd love to sign one just for you. And I hope you enjoy reading about my life as much as I've enjoyed living it.